Right. Firstly, let me address the rather rough, basic intonation of my voice, my accent, whatever you want to call it. I don't sound like a top secret barrister that can get you off any type of crime that you may commit. But I've had enough experiences with the police to know that they do often arrest people with completely insufficient grounds or any basis on some occasion whatsoever. And I've been arrested about 9 times, each of which failed to result in a successful prosecution, mainly because I basically hadn't done anything. And I've got a bit fed up with this now, because I've been recently arrested for something I didn't do. Of course I'm going to say that. You're thinking, he's going to say that, isn't he? Of course he did it, why would he be arrested? And that basically is what the police rely on. They rely on this basic idea that if you've been arrested, you must have done something. That basically seems to be the logical, coherent concept that most people adhere to. And we sort of feel a bit more comfortable that way, don't we? In society, we don't want to think that you can get arrested just for the sake of it. But let me tell you this. If you think about the Guildford 4, the Maguire 7, and the Birmingham 6, just to mention a few, and other situations where people have been arrested for no apparent reason whatsoever, other than that they seemed to fit the stereotype. On some of these occasions they got arrested, got prosecuted, spent years in jail, and eventually it all came out in the public that they hadn't done anything. They're not the situations I'm talking about. I'm talking about your basic situation where you're stopped and searched, arrested for nothing, put in the police station, even if it's for half an hour, 20 minutes. In my case recently, it was about 13 hours. And on previous occasions, on one occasion it was 23 hours. Went to court, not guilty. What a joke that was. So, what I'm talking about right now is what your basic fundamental human rights are. Not taking all this through the human rights court, but how to finally decide that you can do something about this. If you've been arrested and held for 20 minutes, you are due something like 500 quid. Then, depending on the gravity of the situation, how much stress it caused you, how much of an interference of your life, that figure will go up and up and up and up. Now, I'm certainly not going to tell you to go to your local lawyer and tell them you've been arrested for 20 minutes. Can they pursue the case? Get you 500 quid. And the reason why is I'm telling you, most of them will say, sorry, we ain't got time for this. Sorry, can't take on this case. Sorry, this is not something we deal with. And you'll get all the excuses in the book as to why they won't pursue this for you. So, there is a process. The process really, really, really is not difficult. That's what you've got to get out of your head. As far as they're concerned, they want you to believe that this process is virtually impossible. No one ever wins. You'll spend all your time chasing, you won't get nowhere. Right. And they'll use all the tricks in the book to try to stop you from winning a case of unlawful arrest. Now, don't forget, if the arrest is unlawful, the detention is unlawful. That's basically, they can't detain you for the sake of it without a lawful arrest. And they can't lawfully arrest you without a couple of things that they have to do. One of them is this. They have to have a reasonable suspicion that you are guilty of a specific crime that has actually been committed recently, or is about to be committed, or that you won't give your name and address, and they need your name and address to investigate a particular crime that they're talking about right now. They can't just randomly pick you up like they do and then eventually let you go with no charge, because that is basically an unlawful arrest. But if you look at Section 28 of PACE, I'm trying not to get too complicated here. Section 28 of PACE, subsection 3. I really sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I, when I say stuff like that? Okay. Section 28 of PACE, subsection 3, basically states that an arrest is not lawful unless they explain to you the grounds of your arrest. And usually that is in the form of, we are arresting you on suspicion of blah, 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 blah. And when they say on suspicion of, they might say assaulting such and such a person in such and such a street on such and such a day. Now, that person's name has to be mentioned, who they say you assaulted, and the street in which, and the location, and roughly the time of when. And that is sufficient to give you the grounds for the arrest. What they can't do is say to you, you're under arrest, you come with us, my son. Because they haven't given you the grounds. Right. Now, once they've given you the grounds, you have to ask yourself, was there any reasonable suspicion? Did they have any idea that I might really, really, really be guilty of this offence? Was there even an offence committed before they, in some instances, there isn't even an offence. They just want to stop you, search you, investigate you, and it's called a fishing exercise. They want to basically search everything you got, search your phone, and gradually find something on you so that they can prosecute you for while you're under arrest. That's unlawful. That's what they're doing. So let's get down to the nitty-gritties. How do you pursue them? I'll tell you this. It's completely cost-free, but you've got to get it right, because otherwise they will deem it to be a vexatious or frivolous lawsuit. You make a small claim in the county court. Now, a small claim will cost you something like 40 quid to pursue. It's a small claim. And because it's a small claim, where they will try to say to you that they will end up with court costs, and they will end up with legal fees, and they will end up with solicitors' costs, and it will end up costing you thousands because they will win. Firstly, make sure that your arrest was unlawful on the day that it took place. They didn't give you the grounds for the arrest, or the grounds that they gave you were so unreasonable that they could not really have believed that those grounds were true when they made them up. So you've got your basis. Now, the other thing they will do is they'll keep you under investigation for as long as possible after they've let you go. And until you get your letter which says no further action will be taken in this matter, don't even go down that route. Don't even bother complaining to the police. Don't do anything. Because they will say, all the time there's investigation in you, on you, about you, then it's sub judice. We can't pursue any civil action. That's what they will do. It's probably not true strictly, and you probably can pursue it, but they'll probably convince the judge that you are still under investigation and that you're trying to get out of the investigation. So it'll be very difficult. So you wait until you get your final letter that says no further action. Sometimes they won't send you that letter. So what you have to do after about 6 months is you have to email them and say, what are you doing about that arrest? Well, am I still going to be... And they will respond to you with an email that says no further action will be taken. Now, that is your key to conversation. Because basically they're saying that they had no need to arrest you. They wasted your time, and you can take them to court. So you gather all that information together, fill out a claim form, small claims form, online, and basically you're claiming for unlawful arrest, unlawful detention on such and such a day at such and such a location. And you basically are saying that they had no grounds to arrest you based on Section 28 of PACE, subsection 3. I will do another video at some stage to go through the basics of this.